In Standard 7th, we learned that all living organisms on Earth have adapted according to the place where they live, the food that they eat, and enemies that they fight. While adapting, many differences are observed in organisms of same species too. Hello, I am Kunal Jain, teaching you this chapter, Living World and Classification of Microbes at Study Corner. Yeah, the word adapting means to make suitable for a new place or modify oneself to survive in a new place. For example, a camel. They live in a desert, so to survive in such a hot weather, they have some special features like they can store huge amount of water in their stomach and can survive weeks without water. But the same is not true in case of us. If we go in desert, we'll get lost in desert without water. We won't be able to survive for a week. According to 2011 census, around 8.7 crores of living organisms are found on Earth, including land and water. To study such a vast number, it was essential for us to divide them into groups and subgroups. You might be wondering, why are we studying so many living organisms? Then you must know that few of them are useful to us and few of them are harmful to us. So we are making an effort to study them so that we can utilize the useful living organisms and get protected from the harmful ones. If we visit a pharmacy to buy certain medicines, after looking at our prescription, the pharmacist goes to a particular shelf where she has kept the medicines and bring it to us that she can sell it. Just wonder, there are thousands of medicines in the pharmacy, but still she could locate them instantly. The reason for such an efficient working is that she has organized all the medicine based on similarities and differences and kept them on various shelves. For example, she has kept medicines with letter A at one particular shelf, medicines with letter B at another, and so on. So group and subgroups were created considering the similarities and differences among the living organisms too. Robert Harding Whittaker, which is in the year 1920 to 1980, was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided living organisms into 5 groups: the Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, and Monera. For this classification, Whittaker has considered the following criteria. First of them is based on complexity of cell structure. Based on it, living organisms were classified into prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Let me break these difficult words into two parts. The prokaryotic can be broken down into two small words. One is pro, the other one is karyon. Pro means old and karyon means nucleus. That is, a living organism which has old type of nucleus are called as prokaryotic cell. The other one is eukaryotic. Your eukaryotic can be divided into two words, that is eu, which means new, and karyon means nucleus. In order to make you understand it more clearly, let me take an example. Let's say we have less money and we have to buy a house in a city called as Mumbai. So with our less money, we can only afford to buy a small one-room kitchen here. This one-room kitchen has a kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, hall in the same 4 walls. So we can call this type of house as a prokaryotic house. Now suppose after a few years we became prosperous. We earned enough money to buy a big house in the same city of Mumbai, and now this house has a separate kitchen, separate bedroom, separate bathroom, and separate hall. And this house then is called as a eukaryotic house. Okay. The second category on which the living organism can be classified is based on the number of cells. If they have one cell, then the type of living organism are called as unicellular. If they have many cells, then they are called as multicellular. The third type is based on mode of nutrition. Living organisms such as plants are autotrophic. That is, they produce their own food with the help of photosynthesis. The second type is heterotrophic, that is animal. They consume the food produced by plants. The third type is fungi. Fungi are living on absorption of dead and decaying organisms. The fourth criteria through which living organism can be classified are whether they are producers, consumers, or decomposers. Plants are producers, animals are consumers, and fungi are decomposers. The fifth criteria is phylogenetic relationship, that is, how a certain organism evolved into another organism. For example, once a eukaryotic today was once a prokaryotic. A multicellular today was once a unicellular. That means the ancestor of all living multicellular organisms is same. Living organisms are broadly classified into two categories, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. The only kingdom which has a prokaryotic cell are the kingdom monera. Eukaryotes are further classified into two subclasses, unicellular and multicellular. Protista are unicellular and fungi, plants and animalia are multicellular eukaryotes. Let's study each one of them. Let's start with kingdom 1, that is monera. All types of bacteria and blue-green algae are included in kingdom monera. If we take a small drop of milk or buttermilk and see it in a compound microscope, after diluting it, we see a moving rod-like microorganism whose name is lactobacilli bacteria. The word monera starts with the word mono, which means single, and hence it is a single-celled organism, that is unicellular. They may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. These are prokaryotic cells that do not have a distinct nucleus or cell organelles. Kingdom Protista. When we take one drop of pond water and watch it under a compound microscope, then we see some moving irregular shaped microbes which are called as amoeba. Protista are single cell organisms with a well defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane, that is, it is a eukaryon. They have a pseudopodia or a hair like cilia or a whip like flagella for locomotion. Here the word pseudopodia is made up of two words. First is pseudo, which means fake, and podia, which means leg. So they have a hair-like structure that act as a leg so they can move from one place to another. Some protista are autotrophic, that is, they make their own food and are green in color, as they have chloroplast in them. Examples of such protista are Euglena and Volvox. You can see the picture of them. Euglena is green in color and Volvox are also green in color. They are found in fresh water. And they are found in freshwater and are in colonies. Some non-green protista are Paramecium and amoeba. The shape of amoeba is similar to a slip. Amoeba is irregular, and that of Paramecium is similar to a slipper. Fungi. The size of a fungi is approximately 10 mm to 100 mm. This number is big enough so that we can see it through naked eye. These are found on dead, decaying organic matter and dead bodies of plants and animals. These are eukaryotic. They are saprotrophic, that is, they eat decaying organic matter. They reproduce sexually and asexually by cell division or by budding. Examples of fungi are baker's yeast, candida, and mushroom. We have already learned about baker's yeast and mushroom in the above slides. Now let's study about candida. Candida causes a disease called as candidiasis, which is a fungal infection which is caused by yeast, a type of fungus. Candida that normally lives on skin and inside the body in places such as mouth, throat, gut and vagina without causing any problem. Now let's go to the second part of this chapter, that is classification of microbes. Among the living organisms, microorganisms are largest in number, hence they are classified as follows. Just like living organisms, microbes can be classified again into two categories, that is the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes, based on the type of nucleus they have. Bacteria is the only example of prokaryotes, while protista, fungi and algae are categorized into eukaryotes. Let's study about bacteria. Bacteria can be of size 1 millimeter to 10 millimeter. Bacteria are unicellular. They can be independent or parasitic organisms. Sometimes many bacteria together form colonies. Parasites are organisms that dwell in a host and get their food from it. Some parasite causes disease. Example of parasitic are hookworm, lice, etc. Bacterial cell is a prokaryotic cell with cell wall, but distinct nucleus or cell organelles are absent. They reproduce by simple binary fission. Your binary means 2 and fission means breaking. So here in this asexual type of reproduction, a single bacteria gives birth to 2 new bacteria. In a favorable condition, bacteria grows vigorously and can double their number in just 20 minutes. Based on shape, bacteria can be divided into 3 types. If they are spherical in shape, that is round shape, then the type is called as coccus. If they are rod shaped, then the type is called as bacillus. If they are spiral in shape, then the type is called as spiral. The cocci bacteria is round shaped bacteria which causes serious skin disease. The vibrio bacteria are comma in shape. They are mostly aquatic microorganisms. Most of them are causing serious disease such as chlorella. Spirillum bacteria causes disease such as syphilis, which is a sexually transmitted disease. The second type of microorganism which we are going to study is protozoa. The size is approximately 200 mm. Protozoa are found in soil, fresh water and seawater. Some are found in body of other organisms and are pathogenic too. These are unicellular organisms with eukaryotic cells. There is a great variation in cell structure, organs of locomotion and mode of nutrition among the protozoans. These organisms reproduce by simple cell division. Examples of protozoan are amoeba and perimorphium, which are freely living in dirty water, Entamoeba histolica, which causes amoebiasis, that is a diarrhea, Plasmodium vivax, which causes malaria, and Euglena, which is an autotrophic, that is, it produces their own food. Algae are green in color. Their size is approximately 10 mm to 100 mm, just like that of fungi. They are aquatic, that is, they live in water. They are eukaryotic, they can be unicellular or multicellular. They are, as told before, autotrophic. They carry out photosynthesis with the help of chloroplasts present in the cell. Examples of algae are chlorella and chlamydomonas. Chlorella is a nutrient-dense freshwater algae. Chlamydomonas are green algae that lives in stagnant water, moist soil, seawater, freshwater, and snow. Very few species of algae are unicellular, and most of them are multicellular and visible with naked eye. Viruses. The size of a virus is approximately 10 to 100 nanometers. The most famous example of virus which we have seen nowadays is corona. The size of a corona is so small that we can see them through electron microscope only. It has created, as the size is so small, they have created such a big terror that they have killed 61 lakh people in the last 2 years, and still the number is going up every day. Generally, viruses are not considered living as they show the characteristic of both living as well as non-living. Viruses are extremely small, as I told you before. Their size is 10 to 100 times smaller than the bacteria. They are found in independent particles. The virus is a long molecule of a DNA or RNA covered by a protein coat. Viruses survive only in living plant or animal cell and produce their protein with the help of a host cell and create numerous replica. Then they destroy the host cell and become free. These viruses again infect the new cell and the cycle repeats. Virus causes many diseases to plant and animals, and one of those diseases is the major reason why we had lockdown and since the last 2 years in this world. Other examples of diseases that are caused by viruses are HIV, AIDS, polio virus, tomato wilt virus, etc.